Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you are new here. Hello, my name is Roxanne, also known as By Bun. I'm a mixed media artist, illustrator, and maker of things. For today's video, oh my gosh, I have to say from the start, I got sick over the weekend. I'm feeling much better, but like my throat is still a little like scratchy and weird. If I sound a little bit different than previous videos, that is why. Even though I probably should have waited a few days until I sounded a little bit better, I was too excited about this video idea and I wanted to film it and get it out to you guys, so here we are. For today's video, I thought that it would be fun to kind of do a list of my favorite supplies that I use right now. Sort of like my I can't live without these art supplies kind of list. I thought that it would be an interesting sort of snapshot to not only share with you the things that I really love using a lot right now, but also just for me to kind of look back on. It's really interesting to see over time sort of my own art supply trends, things that I really loved during a specific time when I was maybe making a certain type of art, to what I use now, things that I have always reached for over the years. It's just kind of interesting to see. I see that a lot in my online classes. Those sort of act like a time capsule in a sense, that I'm able to look at those videos and see what I was using a lot or what I was like, hey, grab this is amazing. So I just thought it might be fun to take a video here on the channel and just share with you my top 10 favorite things that I'm using right now. I tried to restrict the list to actual like supplies, like mark making things that are on my desk, things that I draw with, etc., rather than spilling over into like sketchbooks or books that I use, because that was on the list initially. I had some sketchbooks and I was like, no, let's talk about actual mark making things. So that's what's kind of going on up here, give or take a few sort of other tools in the pile. I've narrowed this list down. Obviously, I use a lot of things outside of this. This is just me narrowing it down to my top 10 favorite art supplies that I use right now. Where do we begin? Oh gosh, I don't even know. Let's start with pens. Let's start with the black pens, because I have quite a few little black pens over here. Some of these I've talked about on the channel, others I have not. At the end of last year, I did this big Battle of the Brush Pen video for Patreon as part of my sketchbook club. I will also put links down below, by the way, to everything I mention in this. There will be links down below in the description. So look there if you're looking for any of these things that I sort of mentioned, other videos included. So at the end of last year, I did my Battle of the Black Brush Pen video, where I basically bought a bunch of different brush pens, swatched them against each other, kind of narrowed things down bracket style, and then did an actual like illustration with some outlining with a black pen. And from that, I've really pivoted to different pens that I'm using than I was before, which is kind of interesting because I was kind of a ride or die Copic nylon gas infused brush pen gal, say that 10 times fast, and now I'm really not. I've pivoted to other brush pens that I really like using a lot. So I have one fine liner that I use a lot, and then I have two brush pens that I've kind of been toggling between. Let's talk about those. First up is this Kuretake brush pen. I actually don't know specifically what it's called. Jet Pens has it listed as one thing, and Amazon has it listed as something different. Again, I will put links down below. But essentially what it is it's a brush pen that is inspired by black liquid eyeliner. So even the packaging of the pen, it looks like an eyeliner. Like I could chuck this into my, I mean, obviously I can't use it as an eyeliner, but if this was in my makeup bag, I could very easily mistake it for a eyeliner. It has a very, very thin nylon brush tip. The ink is waterproof, which is really great. But it's got that really fine brush tip that I like. When it comes to brush pens for me, I like something that feels like a paintbrush. It needs to be a flexible, individual nylon bristle sort of situation rather than say like a felt brush pen. I like it as close to feeling like a paintbrush as possible is what I like. This is really doing the job for me as far as like very fine detail work. You've seen me use this, I think, in some more recent videos. I think in that tulip video, this is what I'm using. I really, really love this a lot. The body of the pen can be a little uncomfortable at times when I'm illustrating for a long period of time, because it's got a short sort of body on it, and this sort of front part here can get a little uncomfortable at times, but I love the line work that it delivers so much that for me it's worth suffering the short body of this pen. The other brush pen, which I have come a long ways on, this right here is another reason why I want to sort of capture like my favorite things right now, because had you asked me about this pen maybe 5 years ago, I would have told you, ew, get that thing away from me. Get that thing back where it came from. Wow, that was a deep cut there. But I have come to actually really love this pen, and It is the Pentel Pocket Brush Pen. My biggest complaint with this back in the day was that it was too juicy. It's too juicy of a pen, which I would still say that. It's a very wet pen when you go to apply it, but it's got that individual nylon bristle brush that I really, really like. And I just think, frankly, I don't think my skill set was up to where it needed to be to feel comfortable using this. Because just the tiniest change in the pressure of your hand will deliver a completely different line. Again, I think my brush pen skills are much different than they were in the past. I use brush pens a lot more. I think my hand has gotten steadier over time, which I don't know how that's possible, but probably just from practice, right? And I've just really grown to love this. So I really like using this for when I want a slightly thicker line. This is kind of what has replaced the Copic brush pen for me because it has a finer point. So I'm able to get a slightly finer line than the Copic pen, which I like a lot. Another big plus to this is that it is refillable ink. So that's also really nice. I'm not having to buy a new pen every single time. Yeah, it's just kind of funny. I've completely pivoted to now really liking this pen. So the fine liner that I have in the pile here, or on the list rather, the fine liner on this list is a fine liner that I've been using for a while now. You would have seen this in my stationery haul video that I shared here on the channel. And it is the Unipin fine liner, specifically the 0.3 is the size I use the most. I've finally caved to when I first started using this pen. I was using it out of sort of like a multi-pack where it had a couple different sizes in it, but I just found I kept grabbing the 0.3 more than anything. It just is like the perfect nib size, I find, for just about anything. Not only do I draw with this and outline things with this, but I also write with this in my planner. I love writing to-do lists with this pen. It's waterproof, which is also really great. So sometimes I'll use this when I have something sketched out in my sketchbook and I just want to get a contour line to then lift out and transfer my drawing somewhere else. This is usually what I'm going to use to get that outline of my sketch or create that clean contour of it. Yeah, big fan. And again, the 0.3 is my favorite. The 0.8 is probably my next favorite size. Again, for when I am outlining sketches that are in my sketchbook that I want like a nice crisp outline on. So that's kind of like the pen situation. Let's go ahead and get into pencils. I'll put this over to the side here. Hopefully I can remember all the things that I've talked about. New favorite pencil. I forgot that I used to love, well, no, I still do. I used to love drawing with mechanical pencils. I would have sort of more fancier mechanical pencils like this. For the longest time, I just actually sketched with a Papermate. I like these for sketching. They're really great. But in my recent Jet Pens order, I grabbed myself one of these and I've been sketching with it like crazy. It is the Energize mechanical pencils. Is this by Pentel? I think this is also by Pentel. This happens to be like a special Snoopy edition with a 0.5 size lead. Just really love the feeling of this in my hand. It's very comfortable to sketch with. It's not super heavy, but obviously it's going to give me more weight in my hand than this does, which I think is why I used to like drawing with pencils like this in the past, because it's got a nice grip on it. It gives a little bit of weight to your hand so that when you are doing that really loose sort of gesture drawing or anything like that, it just feels really nice. And then with a 0.5 lead, that's pretty standard for me when it comes to sketching stuff. I just really enjoy it. So this has been a nice little addition, and it feels like a little bit of an upgrade from the Papermate pencils that I typically draw with, that I buy like in bulk. This feels like a nice treat, and I keep really reaching for it. So this has been my go-to pencil for sketching as of late. The other sort of pencils that are featured in this, I put this on the list. I feel like these will always be in the list, but I'm featuring them here because they've been a staple for me for many, many years. It is the classic red and blue Mitsubishi pencils. I love these. I actually need to get another box. I blow through these so fast. I literally have a little cup of these on my desk where I just wear them down to nothingness. This is my number one favorite thing to sketch with, even over a pencil, is just these red and blue pencils are my favorite. I will do like an initial sketch in red, and then I will do a contour sketch or a cleaned up version of it with the blue. I just absolutely love it. Sometimes I'll even sketch with these and I will paint right on top of the red and blue, and I just don't even care because it just adds interesting depth and color to my sketches. They feel really great in the hand, really nice color on paper. I'm just a really big fan. I feel like I will always forever love these. Obviously, they are larger when they start. I tried to find a new one in my pile, but I unfortunately don't have any. I just have these little baby guys that I'm slowly working through and finishing off here. So yeah, the vermilion red and Prussian blue pencils, the little Mitsubishi pencils, love these to death. They will always be, I think, a staple in my stash. To round out the pencil situation, this is a pencil that I use sometimes for sketching, more so for creating sort of background colors. This is something that got introduced to me in my in-person like drawing group that I was part of for a couple of years. And unfortunately, they're no longer a thing, but that's where I first discovered it. And it's the Koe Noir dry markers. And what it is essentially, it's like a highlighter, but in pencil form. But they are really fun to draw with. They are like neon colored, again, like a highlighter, but they're really fun for like scribbly backgrounds, or you would have seen me use this guy in that kind of crazy mixed media thing with the rabbits that I did here on the channel. I will default you to that video if you want to see these like in action. This red color happens to be my favorite out of it. It's like a red orangey sort of coral color, but this is my favorite color for sketching, for creating like interesting backgrounds or like doodles behind illustrations and whatnot. I just find that they're really fun. They feel different than that of like a colored pencil. It's just a fun way to add a little pop of color to mixed media stuff, illustration stuff that's in your sketchbook. Again, they are fun to draw with. They can be waxy at times, so if you are drawing with them, I really only draw with them when it's like a super, super rough idea, because they can be a little difficult to outline on top of. But once you kind of get the hang of them, they're just really fun to use. So I had started just with the red ones because this was my favorite ones. I think they still are, but they do come in a full like little set, so you can get like a pack of them that have sort of other colors as well. Which is a lot of fun. And I think I also use these in my toned sketchbook. You would have seen me use those in that video as well. So there's definitely some good samples of me kind of using these. This has been something that I've been using like in the last year and a half or so that has been introduced to the pile. All right, let's talk about a random little tool that I'm throwing into this mix here. It is this tape, which seems silly, but I use this a lot. It is like a dot glue double-sided tape. I get this off Amazon. It's specifically the Hirosu. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. They come in a 4-pack. I order this so often now I actually get them in an 8-pack. So this is what they sort of look like. I've been taking rolls out of this, but this is my favorite tape ever. I go through these like crazy. I use them in my junk journaling, my Disney junk journal. I use them in my 5-year journal when I'm taping stuff in. I use it in my happy planner, in my planner journal. It's great. This stuff is truly sticky, and I don't find that I end up fighting it. For many years, I was using a Tombow tape, and I just feel like it would always get tangled or it would get stuck, and it would just be such a dogfight. And sometimes even getting them out of the packaging, they would somehow get like tangled together. I don't know. My patrons can probably vouch for this. They've seen me fight the Tombow tape in previous videos over the years, but since swapping to this, whatever this is, it just really works for me and it's great. So this is my go-to double-sided tape for all of the things, all of the ephemera things. I even use this in my sketchbook when I want to like tape stuff in, heavier things. It's really, really great, and it does keep things in place. So you can get a big pack of them. They also have like a 4-pack. I think in my Amazon storefront, it's the 4-pack. And sometimes they run deals on this stuff too. So like I wait till it's on sale and then I buy a big pack of them and I just keep them in a drawer in my studio here and I use them all the time. So that is sort of like a little featured tool that I use a lot. Also in the tool category, this is something else that has been a staple for me for many years. It still continues to be a staple. I love these brushes. They are the Princeton Velvet Touch brushes. My favorite specifically is the long round in the size 8. I just find that this brush, this size, this shape, does everything that I need it to do. Sometimes I don't even use any other brushes. I just use this, even for like detailing, because you'll see that it's a really nice, like fluffy brush. But as soon as you get it wet, and I'll get it wet in front of me here. As soon as you get it wet, oh gosh, my water's so dirty. Okay, forgive if there's any particles. As soon as you get it wet, it comes to such a nice point, and I find that I can do not only big areas of watercolor or painting or whatever it is that I'm doing, but I can also still get a pretty detailed point on here to come into sort of smaller areas. I just love these brushes. I take pretty good care of them. Some of these are so old. I've had these for so long, but I genuinely love them so much that I actually care for them, which is kind of crazy, because for the longest time I was one of those people that would just leave brushes in my water, which, don't get me wrong, I still do that with like my glue brush or whatever. But with these, I just love them so much. They hold up over the years. I think you could get one and it would last you a very long time. I was introduced to these through Art Snacks. That's how old some of these are and how long I've been using this particular brush. I absolutely love it. Yeah, but just to show you what a new one looks like, here's like a new one right out the gate, which I haven't even needed to dip into. I've had these two here that I toggle between, and I just absolutely love them. But particularly for watercolor and gouache is mainly what I use these for, but I love them. The size of them, the feel in the hand, it has like a nice like rubber feel on the handle. If you can't tell, I'm very particular about how things feel in my hand, especially when I'm painting for long periods of time or filming for long periods of time. That stuff really kind of matters to me a lot. So big fan of these brushes. Again, kind of like the red and blue pencils. I feel like these are two long time staples for me that I had to feature in this video. And it will just be interesting to see that, you know, if I do another one of these videos in the future, will they still pop up in my top 10 list? Probably. They've been around for a very long time. Okay, so speaking of watercolor, I did want to talk about watercolor real quick, and this is gonna be hard to demonstrate because I have moved the particular watercolor that I want to give a shout out to into this custom palette. I get a lot of questions about this palette. This is something that I put together, I believe, over on Patreon. There is a video for this where it's like building my dream watercolor palette. It has taken me years to narrow down what colors I like to use and like building this palette and rotating things in and out. So there's a lot of things in here. There's a very big mix mosh of things. There are, however, a couple of colors that I use a lot, and it's just watercolor that I really, really enjoy using. It's specifically from Lab Art on Etsy. Leah has been a follower of mine for many years, and she so kindly sends me watercolor. She makes her own handmade watercolor. She has very, very generously, kindly sent me watercolor over the years, and which is just so fun to get in the mail, by the way. There's just something about handmade watercolor that is just, it feels really special and unique and one of a kind, and I absolutely love that. But I genuinely use her paint so much. It is some of my favorite things that I reach for in this palette. For example, this gray right here, this gray color specifically, which was from her vintage Halloween paint set. I love this gray so much. Same with this sort of like cream color here. That is also a color that I use a lot. This like pinky color here, which I believe is called Dead Man's Toe from the Hocus Pocus set. There are a number of colors that she has made that I just reach for and I use a lot. This green color here, also from the Hocus Pocus color set, if I remember correctly. I use that a lot. This blue as well. I think that's from the vintage Halloween set. I just love her paints so much. And I know I'm not demoing them right now because I'm really just trying to make this like a quick snappy video, but just know that I use those colors a lot. And like, I cannot shout out her paints and her Etsy shop enough. So I will put a link down below. I just genuinely like, I love her paints a lot. I actually have, she sent me her Taylor Swift like Eras inspired watercolor set, and I haven't swatched it yet, and I've been saving it for a video. That might be a video that maybe we do here on the channel. Let me know and we can do like an unboxing and like a swatching and illustration of those. That would be really, really fun. I've kind of been saving it for like a rainy day for like when I need like a pick-me-up. It's opening up some watercolors from Leah. Yeah, just big fan, love her watercolors. I think she even has like little baby swatches if you didn't want to commit to like a full like little mini set of like half pan colors. There's like little swatches if you just want to like try some of the colors, but big fan. There's just something special about handmade watercolor. I just think it's really cool. And I genuinely think about it every time that I go to use it in this pan because it's sitting next to some really big watercolor brands that are in this palette. And it's just really special that there's like handmade paints that are in here that I find myself kind of dipping into more than sort of bigger brand paints. So just like a shout out and a genuine like favorite. It is one of my favorite things that I use. Okay, last and certainly not least, I don't have the whole thing here. Well, I can, let's see, can I flash this a little bit? Okay. I have become a huge fan of these Artex acrylic markers. Oh my God. Okay, so Artex sent me these a long time ago, and it was from their anime set of acrylic markers. I actually think I featured it in a studio vlog, me getting them in the mail, me like opening up the box and getting them. So they sent them to me, and then they just kind of sat on my shelf for a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I'll get to them eventually. And when I got to them and started using them, I was like, oh my God, these are amazing. They are so cool. The best thing to compare them to is like a Posca. However, the tip of them are like a brush tip. So it's like a felt brush tip. It is great for getting into tiny, nitty-gritty little spaces, and it gives you that opaque paint pen sort of look that I absolutely love. I reach for these so much that sometimes I have to tell myself, dude, grab another supply. I can't keep just illustrating with these because I'm really obsessed with these. The other thing too is that they're really friendly on mixed media paper. So for example, my Strathmore mixed media sketchbooks, a Posca nib will very often shred that paper, and you'll feel it. Like when you go to use it, you'll get sort of the rolls of paper lint because the tip of it is slowly shredding up the paper. You don't get that with these, and that is why I love it so much. Also, it goes without saying, you get a ton of colors. This here is the anime set. They have another set of colors, which I don't have, but my God, I have these in a bin right next to me because I'm so obsessed with them and I use them so often. Obviously, this is not sponsored at all. This is just genuinely one of my favorite things, and you can almost assume somewhere in my illustration I have used this in some capacity because I'm just really obsessed with them. I put it on top of watercolor. I put it on top of messy sketches. I use them as backgrounds. They're great to fill in negative space for things, like big areas of negative space. I've had one or two of these be a little wonky, like maybe one or two will like dry out on me out of nowhere. But beyond that, I really haven't had any major issues with these. They are a huge favorite of mine. And it was funny because Artex was emailing me about sending me some other supplies. And I was like, nah, I don't want to test anything else out. I'm good. But I was like, hey, if you want to send me more acrylic markers, by all means, because I'm obsessed with these markers. And apparently they're coming out with a 96 set, I think, or like a big set that might have even more colors in it. I don't know. And I think they're sending it to me. So stay tuned because I think we're going to have like a giant Artex acrylic marker unboxing, which I am thrilled about. They asked me, they were like, hey, we've got this new box set of colors. Do you want to try that out? I couldn't say yes fast enough. This might be the #1 item on this list. Like in this video are these. And I get a lot of questions about them, which is why I wanted to kind of give them their moment because they are so fun. And I think they are beginner friendly. I think anyone at any level can use them. And just as a mixed media person, they're just a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. And if you like Poscas, but you want something that's not going to shred up your paper, that you can really get into nitty gritty spaces on, where you have every color like literally at your fingertips, this is a really great way to go. Just saying. Can you tell I'm fangirling over these markers? I'm just a really big fan of these. All right, so shockingly, we got through that without me losing my voice. So I'll take that as a win for today. Anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this little quickie video of kind of my current top 10 favorite supplies, top 10 things I can't live without. I will leave links to everything down below. Keep in mind, some of those might be affiliate links. So if you do buy through any of those links, you are helping support me here on the channel. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more of these in the future. I also have like a list of like my top favorite like storage solutions because I have a lot of like interesting ways that I store materials. So I kind of have that little list going. Let me know down below if you want to see that video, and also leave like a little pencil or a pen emoji in the comments down below so that I know you made it to the end. So I know you are a real one. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you are new here. I put out 2 new videos every week. Like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.